Good day, Australia. I wanted to give one last update and quick discussion before I head out to Australia. I'm looking forward to coming and speaking at the Secure the Future conference and talking with a lot of the media people that I talked to back in 2011. I get a great reception in Australia despite my very challenging message. And what I wanted to do in this little video is look at both sides of the story here, because you don't have a demographic problem. You're one of the few countries I look at or go to and lecture at where demographics is not your problem. So I want to look at the positive things about Australia. And you are my #1 country for weathering this downturn, even though it's going to be worse than the last one, and #1 for doing well in the next boom to follow that's going to be dominated by emerging countries. So on the positive side, you literally have the best demographics in the world. Your demographics move sideways to slightly up in this difficult decade, where many countries have steep dives or gradual downturns and sideways at best. So that makes the downturn less severe. It's not going to be demographics that are going to cause your downturn or real estate to bust. Long term, because of the strong immigration you've had in the recent decades, you're going to have the strongest demographic boom from 2023 to 2040, when the rest of the world comes back and largely grows again. Most Western countries, most developed countries, go sideways in demographic trends at best, and many in Europe and East Asia continue to head down for decades, including China. After 2025, their workforce is going to slow. So you have the best demographics. That's point #1. As we look down the road, the next boom, starting about a decade from now, maybe a little sooner, that's a long way away, but it is going to be dominated by emerging countries, because most developed countries have slowing demographic trends or even declines. Those countries are intensive commodity users and purchasers. So I think you're going to see the greatest commodity boom in history, and that plays into your strong suit for exports resources. And finally, you have the highest relative immigration of any major country in the world, especially English-speaking, where people like to move. Higher than Canada or the United States, and we are immigration magnets. You select the best immigrants and you track them from Asia. That's one reason your demographics, that is the biggest reason your demographics are stronger than most other developed countries. Now, there's a chance that at least at times, even in the downturn where immigration usually falls dramatically, and I'm projecting that in the United States, that our high immigration is going to drop off, or already is dropping off dramatically, you may at times still attract immigrants from Asia, especially from China, because the rich are starting to flee China, and this is not a good leading indicator for that. So those are the positives. Strong demographics, long-term another great commodity boom, and your immigration has been high and is likely to hold up better than most countries in a downturn. Now for the negatives, which are formidable. China has the greatest bubble in the world. I show that in the new book, The Demographic Cliff, in Australia, in my Asian books, in Korea, Taiwan, and China. China has overbuilt everything, has the highest valued real estate, way beyond your overvalued real estate. China is your largest trading partner, so that's #1 negative. #2, China is the largest factor in the whole kind of East Asia, Southeast Asian area that you are a part of. Your other large trading partners, like South Korea and Japan, are going to be heavily impacted, as you are, by the decline of China. #3, commodity prices are falling. They've been falling since mid-2008. I have a 30-year commodity cycle that I will present that shows, and we've been predicting this for a long time, will fall. Commodity prices will continue to fall into around 2023, almost a decade from now. Falling commodity prices hurt the profitability of your exports and your best export industries. That's one reason that your stock market is not near new highs, while the United States and Germany and many other countries and England all are making new highs. That's going to continue to work against you. That was not as big a factor in the 2008 crash. And finally, #4, you have some of the highest and the most expensive valued real estate in the developed world. Only London and the UK are more expensive than Australia as a country. Sydney and Melbourne are at 10 times income, the very same point where California peaked and started to crash. after from 2006 on in the United States and help develop our crisis. Now your demographics will not dip as much, but your real estate will fall in this next downturn because your economy is going to be hit harder by the fall of China and commodity prices, and because I'm predicting that the countries that did not see a major real estate bust, like the United States, for example, and Spain, and Japan, in past downturns, will see it this time. Real estate's going to peak and start to basically deleverage around the world. So those are the things going to hit your economy harder than 2008 and 9. Again, overall, your demographics, your lower debt, and actually that's another positive I actually let out. Your country has the lowest government debt of any developed country and one of the lowest total debt when you include government and all private debt. So with your lower debt and your stronger demographics, you will weather this better. But don't think real estate's not going to fall. Don't think your export industries aren't going to get hit hard, especially when China's bubble bursts. I'll go into this in much greater depth at the Secure the Future conference in Sydney, 14th to the 16th, and Brisbane, 21st through the 23rd. I look forward to seeing you there. And again, I look forward to having discussions with your media, great media in Australia. Thanks.